Every week I get the same questions that hit my inbox, my LinkedIn, my YouTube comments, and in my coaching calls. And that's, Luke, I want to break into cybersecurity in 2026. Now, should I go for SOC or should I go GRC? Now, almost every time the person asking has been told one of two things. Either SOC is the only real way in, that's where everyone starts, or that GRC is the easy money path. Just learn some frameworks and you'll be on 6 figures in a year. Now, in my opinion, both of those takes are wrong, and following either one blindly is how people, quite honestly, waste 12 to 18 months chasing the wrong lane. They burn out and then telling everyone on Reddit that cyber is impossible to break into. I've been recruiting for 15 years. I've sat on the recruiter side of so many of these decisions. So in this video, I'm going to give you the honest recruiter side answer to SOC versus GRC for 2026. We're going to talk about what each role actually involves day to day, who genuinely suits each one, what the hiring market looks like right now, including realistic salary ranges. And by the end of this video, you'll know which path is right for you, not which path someone told you on Reddit. And if you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name's Luke. I'm a cybersecurity recruiter and career coach. And if you're not new, welcome back and thank you for the support. Let's get straight into the video. Section 1, what a SOC analyst actually does. So let's start with SOC because it's the path most beginners default to be honest. SOC stands for Security Operations Center. A SOC analyst sits inside that center, usually on shift work, monitoring alerts from a SIEM platform like Splunk, Sentinel, Chronicle, or Elastic, and investigating anything that looks suspicious. Now, at tier 1, your day looks like this. You log into your queue. You've got a stack of alerts the SIEM has flagged. Some are obvious false positives, a user mistyping their password 3 times in a row, or something similar. However, some need real investigation. A login from an unusual country, a process spawning from a Word document, a piece of malware maybe hitting an endpoint. Your job is to triage these, enrich, escalate the real threats to tier 2, and document everything you do. Now, it's investigation work. It's fast-paced, it's technical, and it requires you to be genuinely comfortable with networking, with Windows and Linux logs, with thinking like an attacker so you can spot exactly what they're doing. Now, here's the 2026 reality I need to be really honest about with you. AI-assisted triage has changed and is changing entry-level SOC work in the last 18 months, I would say. Tools like Microsoft Security Copilot, Splunk, AI Assistant, CrowdStrike, Charlotte AI can go on. They're now doing a lot of the first pass alert grouping, enrichment, and summarization that used to be a tier 1 analyst's whole shift. That has not killed the SOC analyst role. I need to be clear about that. But it has raised the bar for what tier 1 needs to know on day 1 of the job. You can't just be a button pusher anymore. You need to actually understand what the AI is telling you and be able to investigate beyond what it surfaces. I can tell you this because the hiring managers I speak to, the roles I'm seeing, this is now a factor. The candidates getting hired in 2026 are the ones who can work alongside the AI, not the ones who hoped it would do the job for them. Okay, moving on to section 2, what a GRC analyst actually does. Now let's flip to GRC, which is governance, risk, and compliance. So let's think of it this way. If SOC is the firefighters, GRC is the building inspectors. Both are essential, they just do completely different work. A GRC analyst day looks nothing like a SOC analyst. There's no alert queue, there's no shift work, usually. Instead, you're writing policies, you're running risk assessments, you're managing audit evidence, mapping the organization's controls to frameworks such as ISO 27001, NIST, SOC 2, or here in Australia, for example, the Essential 8. You're sitting in meetings with stakeholders regularly and you're explaining why they can't just spin up that new SaaS tool without a third-party risk review. Remember, there's other people in the business won't understand why they can't just do that. So it's your job to explain that in a very easy to understand way. You're chasing engineering teams for evidence that a control is actually working, or you're translating the auditor wants to see X into here's what we need to do by Friday. It's documentation, documentation, documentation. It's lots of documentation. It's communication. It's structured thinking. It's having the ability to understand risk as a concept, not just security as a technology. Now, here's something I want to be really honest about because it's one of the most common questions I get from career changers and people coming into cyber from a completely non-tech background. GRC generally is the easier path to break into if you don't have a technical background. And I want to be careful with that word easier, because nothing in cybersecurity is genuinely easy to break into right now, being honest. But relative to SOC, GRC does have a lower technical barrier to entry. And that matters if you're mid-30s, 40, 45, coming out of a different career completely, and you don't have years of IT or networking experience to lean on. And I'm seeing this as a recruiter, and that's why I'm telling you. Now, SOC roles, even at tier 1, expect you to be reasonably comfortable on a command line, to understand networking at a packet level, to know your way around Windows event logs and Linux basics, and quite frankly, to think like an investigator under time pressure. That's quite a technical bar, and for someone with no tech background, it's usually a 12 to 18 month runway of study and lab work before you're genuinely ready to apply. Now, GRC leans on a very different skill set, and yes, you still need Security Plus or equivalent certification as a foundation, but the day-to-day work, as in writing policies, running risk assessments, managing audits, talking to stakeholders, etc., that work rewards people who are already a strong communicator, who are already organized people, already good at managing documentation. So possibly you're coming from a project management, compliance, audit, legal, even HR background. Even teaching or nursing, you already have transferable skills that map directly into a GRC role. You're not starting from zero, remember that. You're starting from, I already know how to manage risk and talk to human beings. Now I just need to learn the security frameworks and language, which, remember, is possible. There are foundation certifications out there. There are so many different things you can do to learn that. That's a much shorter runway. I've honestly seen career changes go from zero cyber knowledge to a GRC analyst inside 9 to 12 months when they really focus. I'm not saying that happens all the time. I'm saying it's possible, and I've seen it. Now, I've rarely seen that timeline for SOC unless the person already has some kind of an IT background. This does not mean GRC is a soft option or that it pays less, and we'll get to the numbers shortly, and you might be surprised. Now, quick pause before we get into actually which path suits who. If you're watching this and thinking, okay, I think I know which lane I'm leaning towards, but I still don't really know what to do next, and that's exactly why I built the Cybersecurity Job Ready Blueprint. It's a recruiter-backed playbook. It's something I'm really proud of. It's not another generic Learn Python and Get Security Plus checklist. It walks you directly through picking your lane, whether that's SOC, Security Analyst, or GRC, the right foundation cert path for that particular lane, the proof projects that actually get recruiters and hiring managers to stop scrolling, and how to position yourself on LinkedIn and your resume so you stop getting filtered out by ATS. It's only $14.99 US, which is less than a single textbook, and it's the resource I genuinely wish every candidate I've ever interviewed had before they applied. Link is in the description if you want to grab it. Let me know your thoughts if you do. Drop a comment, let me know which path you're leaning towards right now. SOC, GRC, or something else. I read every comment and I reply to as many as I possibly can. All right, let's now go back to the video and talk about which path is actually right for you. Section 3, who genuinely suits SOC? So who thrives in a SOC environment? Now, in my experience placing people, the candidates who do well in SOC have 4 things in common. Number 1, they genuinely enjoy investigation work. The what just happened, let me dig into this instinct. If you don't like investigation work, stop here, because SOC might not be right for you. If you've ever lost 2 hours troubleshooting why your home network isn't working and you actually enjoyed the process, that's a SOC brain. 2, they're comfortable with technical depth, so networking, operating systems, scripting, the command line. You don't need to be a senior engineer on day one, but you need to enjoy getting your hands into the technical guts of how systems work. 3, they can handle shift work or unusual hours, so a lot of SOC roles, especially at managed service providers, MSPs, are 24/7. That suits some people and absolutely destroys others. Be honest with yourself. Can you do shift work? Can you work nights, days? Be flexible with this. Is that you? Because if you're not, you might want to reconsider SOC. And 4, they want a pure technical career trajectory. SOC is the gateway to threat hunting, incident response, or detection engineering, eventually red team or security engineering if that's where you want to go. It's a deeply technical lane and the ceiling is very high. Now, if that sounds like you, SOC is probably your path. The runway is longer if you don't have IT experience, but the technical foundation you build is genuinely transferable across the whole industry. Okay, section 4, who genuinely suits GRC? Now, GRC, I already covered the career change angle earlier, so I won't repeat it here. Instead, let me tell you what else I look for when I'm placing people into GRC specific roles. First, you need to genuinely enjoy structured thinking. That's frameworks, controls, evidence, policy. If, for example, reading a long document and pulling out the 3 things that actually matter is satisfying to you, you'll be right at home in GRC. Second, you need to be a strong communicator, full stop. Not I'm okay on calls communicator, I mean genuinely able to translate complex risks and security concepts to a board member, a developer, someone in the business such as a finance manager or a third-party vendor, all in the same day, in language each of them actually understands. Now, the best GRC people I've placed are the ones engineering teams want to work with, not the ones they hide from. Third, you need to be okay with ambiguity. So what do I mean by that? Well, SOC has clear right and wrong answers most of the time. GRC is full of it depends. Risk is judgment work, let's be honest. So if you need everything to be black and white, you'll find GRC frustrating. Fourth, your career trajectory from GRC goes into a completely different direction to SOC. In most occasions, you're heading towards senior risk roles, compliance lead, security consultant, eventually CISO roles, if that's your ambition. It's not for everyone. It's a leadership orientated track, and the people who do well in it tend to be the ones who think in systems and stakeholders, not packets and payloads. Okay, let's move on to section 5, 2026 hiring market and the salary reality. This is where a lot of the YouTube fights can fall apart. Here's what I'm seeing in 2026 in the market right now from a recruiter's perspective. SOC at tier 1 is still hiring, but the bar has definitely gone up. With AI assisted triage means employers are running leaner SOC teams and expecting tier 1s to be sharper straight out of the gate. Entry level SOC analyst salaries in Australia are sitting between 70 and 85,000. Now move to tier 2 with 1 or 2 years experience and you're looking at 90 to 115k. Senior SOC and incident responders are well into 130 to 160, and detection engineers and threat hunters at the top end are pushing 180k plus. Now GRC is honestly the hotter market right now. Demand is outpacing supply, driven by I would say 3 things. You have AI governance. This is now a board level concern. It's coming up in all my chats with hiring managers. Every organization is scrambling to put a framework around how AI is being used internally. Third-party risk has exploded as a discipline, and regulation is tightening across APAC, the EU, and the US, which means more audits, more controls, more evidence, which relates to more GRC headcount. Now, junior GRC analyst salaries in Australia are sitting between 80 and 100,000 Aussie dollar, which is genuinely higher than tier 1 SOC in most cases. Now, mid-level GRC consultants are about 110 to 140k. Senior GRC and risk leads are 150 to 180k plus, and principal consultants and heads of risk are well north of 200k. So if anyone tells you GRC is the low paying easy path, they really don't know the market. It's not low paying at all. The ceiling is just as high as the technical lanes. I need to be clear on that. So SOC or GRC for 2026. Here's my honest recruiter take. If you have an IT or technical background, or you're young and very hungry and willing to put 12 to 18 months into building serious technical skills, then SOC is probably a great entry point, and the technical foundation will serve you for the rest of your career. Now, from the other side, if you're a career changer coming from possibly a completely non-tech background, but have strong communication, structured thinking skills already in your toolkit, GRC is probably the smarter entry point. And I would say that you would have a higher chance of getting into the market doing this, as a shorter runway, higher entry salary in a lot of cases, but the same ceiling. And honestly, there's no wrong answer if you pick the one that actually fits you. The wrong answer is forcing yourself down the path someone on Reddit told you was the only real way in. Pick the lane that fits your strengths, that fits your background, and the kind of work that genuinely energizes you, not someone else. Then commit to it. Build the proof. Get the certification. Show up consistently. That's how people get hired in 2026 and every year before it. Once again, if you want the full step-by-step playbook, in the meantime, get the Cybersecurity Job Ready Blueprints linked in the description, only $14.99 US, and it will save you months of guessing. It's a great way also to support the channel. Thank you all for watching. I really hope you found this useful. Please do let me know what you're thinking in the comments. I read everyone, and thank you for everyone's support. As always, keep leveling up your career. I'll see you on the next one.